Good evening, everyone. I'm Joyce Jason, Senior Officer, Admission and Marketing, IHMR Bangalore. I will be the host for today's webinar. On behalf of IHMR Bangalore, I welcome you all to the webinar, Pharmaceutical Management, a Launchpad to a Dynamic Career. Before we start the webinar, I would like to give you a few glimpses of life at IHMR Bangalore. May I request Poonam, Digital Marketing Officer, to run the video.
Thank you, ma'am.
Moving ahead, we have Mr. Shamsuzaman Ansari as the moderator for today's session. So Mr. Ansari is a pharmacy graduate and MBA in Marketing Management. He has also qualified UGC NET in Management. Currently, he is enrolled in PhD in Pharmaceutical Management program. Mr. Ansari has around 11 years of professional experience encompassing both the industry and academia, with a primary emphasis on his extensive background in the industry. Before joining IHMR Bangalore, he has been associated with companies like IQVIA, WNS, and ZS Associates. Mr. Ansari is also associated with VRB Analytics as strategic advisor. I welcome you, sir. Yeah.
Thank you, Joyce.
Welcome, sir. There are also other three panelists who have willingly accepted our invite to discuss on the topic shared. We have Mr. Manu Mayank Yamdagini. So Mr. Manu has a pharma background in his graduation as well as in his master's. He is currently involved in pharma market research and business consulting. His expertise include providing strategic intelligence to major pharmaceutical companies across the globe. He advises companies on innovative trial designs, brand planning, market entry strategies, drug forecasting, and competitive intelligence. Before joining WNS, he has worked with Global Data and BioExcel. I welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Joyce.
Yeah. Moving ahead, we have Mr. Nikhil Sharma. Mr. Nikhil has a pharma background in his graduation as well as in his master's. He is a life science leader with a progressive career in pharma strategy, analytics, and Gen AI-driven transformation. Known for his strategic mindset, storytelling with data, cross-functional leadership, and strong stakeholder management, Nikhil thrives at the intersection of science, business, and technology. Before joining TCS, he has been associated with companies like Bayer Pharmaceuticals, Value Edge, GSK, and Adamet Next. I welcome you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Joyce. Thanks for
Welcome, sir. So we have Dr. Amrit Karmarkar here. Dr. Amrit is a pharmacy graduate with MBA in HRM. He also done his PhD in clinical research from Texila American University. Dr. Amrit has 14 years of professional experience in HR and L&D department. Dr. Amrit has worked with companies like Cipla, Alchem, USV, etc. He has got certifications in Train the Trainer. He is also a certified diabetes educator. He is a TEDx speaker and currently at Juventus. He is responsible for the Assessment Center and Development Center, performance appraisals, and corporate social responsibility. I welcome you, sir. So we appreciate all of your time and interest in today's webinar. Over to you, Ansari, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Joyce, for the introduction. Hello, everyone. A very good evening. I welcome you all again in today's webinar on the topic Pharmaceutical Management, a launchpad to a dynamic career. Before we begin, I'll brief you about why we are conducting this webinar. At IIHMR Bangalore, we offer a flagship program that is PGDHM in Hospital and Health Management. And under that program, we have 4 areas of specializations, including pharmaceutical management. So for this pharmaceutical management program, we keep receiving a number of applications and also a number of queries from students and their parents. And they want to understand what is the growth prospect in pharma industry. They also want to understand what are the different job options available for those who are going for this program in pharma management, and what is going to be the growth trajectory of each and every job role. There are also many pharmacy graduates. They are confused whether they should join M-Pharm or they should go for MBA in Pharma Management. They are not able to decide which is better for them. There are many other healthcare graduates like MBBS, BDS, physiotherapists, nurses. They are like, we don't have much background in pharma. We only understand the pharmacology. Can we also join this program? And if we join, how this program is going to help us in our career? Then there are non-healthcare graduates like BCom, BA, BBA, and BTech. They are like, neither we have background in pharma, nor we have background in healthcare. What about us? Can we also join this program? And if we join, how this program is going to help us in our career? So to address all these queries, we have with us 3 industry experts, as already introduced by Joyce, Mr. Mano, Mr. Nikhil, and Dr. Amrit. So we'll try to address all your queries. In case we miss out any important information, in any important point, or you have additional queries, please do write that in the chat box, and we'll try to address those questions as well during the Q&A session. So I think I should begin now. So to start off this webinar, my first question to Mr. Manu. Could you help us understand the key trends shaping pharma industry in India as well as at the global level? And how do you see this sector evolving in the next 5-10 years?
Sure. Thank you, Shams, for the brief background as well as this question. I hope you can hear me very well. Great. So your question on the things that are shaping Indian and the global industry, I hear 2 questions in this. One, the Indian pharmaceutical context and the global pharmaceutical context. Why I say these are 2 different questions, because while the game is same, the playground is very different. Indian pharmaceutical industry focuses on very different things. The global one focuses on different. But if one thing is there which is governing all the changes is the shift of research to personalized medicine. If I take an example, just assume 15 years back, if a patient walks into a clinic, has some sort of cancer, the physician had a very well laid out guideline that, okay, this cancer patient, I have to give him so and so medication, and that's it. Then market changed, staging used to happen. They used to identify, okay, which particular stage this particular person is in. market further evolved. Now the clinician wants to know what are the comorbidities, what is the lifestyle, what is the predisposed risk, etc. Right now, however, they also want to know what is the genetic markup is there predisposed with this particular patient. So they want to understand which particular mutation is being expressed more. So that's very different. It's very personalized. And it started with oncology. It is going to neurology, to immunology, and to various other therapeutic areas as well. And this is exactly what is shaping the industry. In the next 10 years, you will see everything is revolving around this trend. The regulatory bodies will have a revised timelines for precision medicines. They already have revised timelines, by the way. If a normal drug gets approved in, say, 10, 12 years, precision medicines get approved in much lesser time. The clinical guidelines are also shaping up in line with the personalized medicines. Even the AIs are being trained not just on medicinal chemistry, but also on molecular biology to cope up with this, to sustain the personalized medicine. So this is a very big trend. How this will impact India? We know it's a generic market over here in India, so not a direct impact, but yes, definitely the precision medicine can command huge amount of prices, 15-20 times more than a normal medication. So generic market will hit like that. They will have to shift towards more innovative products. So that is how it is shaping up entirely, and everything is revolving around this trend.
What about the growth rate, Manu? Could you please throw light on the growth rate? I mean, in terms of CAGR, how this industry will evolve in coming years?
Sure. Again, these are the growth rate is very different for the world and the US and India. If I put a number to it, say Indian pharmaceutical industry is roughly about $65 billion of market value right now. Compare it to the US, it's 650. It's almost 10 times. The world, however, is 1.6 trillion. That's again, it's a factor of 10 adding up. The growth rate, however, CAGR is much higher in the US. It's much higher in the US, not that high in India, because we particularly focus on the generic market. They focus on the innovative market, and while the innovative market is less in terms of volume, it is huge in terms of value. So it is very much possible that the number of prescriptions are not that high in the US compared to, say, China or India or Brazil even. However, the value that these prescriptions command is way more, simply because they are dealing in the innovative market. So I'll say while the US is going to grow in double digits, India will also grow, but at a CAGR of roughly 5 to 6%. US definitely in double digits. The countries which are evolving at a higher pace, China, South Korea is a very good example. They are also touching double digits.
Yeah, thank you, Manu, for those insights. And it is good to know that pharma sector is growing at a good CAGR in US and slightly less in India. Now I come to Nikhil, and that my question to you would be more in context of India, right? Today, India is known as pharmacy of the world, and it is also highlighted by Manu that India is a generics-driven market. And because of that, since we have our leadership position in generics and vaccines, we are known as pharmacy of the world. But if you see at the vision of the government of India 2047, right, India is now willing to shift from being pharmacy of the world to innovation powerhouse of the world. This seems to be a very ambitious goal. How do you look at this? What is your perspective on this, and what are the things that should be done to achieve this vision? Nikhil.
Yep. Thank you, Shamsuzaman, for the question. I still believe, this is quite a big dream, actually. It's a big vision and even a bigger opportunity for us. So India is, it's becoming not just the world's, pharma hub, but it's, we are also thinking of 20 years ahead of becoming an innovation powerhouse. So that's like actually, moving from the role of neighborhood grocery to, chef. So to get there, we need to shift from making, what others have produced to discovering what the world needs at the next stage. So right now, if we see our R&D spend is just around, about 0.5% of our revenues, which is compared to 15 to 20% of the West. So we need to, have a flip game into this. So the next focus is, we need to invest in the drug R&D, discovery patterns, biotech genomics, and the personalized medicines. So like I say, in terms of, investment in R&D. So we need to move from reverse engineering process to revolutionary engineering process. So this is still a tiny fraction. We also need, to have a more collaborations with academia and the startups. Like we say that, IIT aims and even the private labs, they should become or they must become the breeding grounds of the, uh, techniques and producing the innovation R&D stuff. Now think of them as the academy of sports, but not for the molecule. But as we talk about the innovation, the innovation obviously needs a speed. And now based on the approvals for trial programs and the type of innovation and the hurdles we go through in our country, it actually goes through multiple regulatory approvals like CDSCO and TCGI. So I will call it as a 72 layers of approval. It's like a lot of red taping. It's done onto that. So there is an obstacles in the funding process. So we must need to simplify our regulations, digitalize workflow, and empower our innovation to move fast and smart. So, so when compared to the innovation ecosystems in the US or EU, our process feels like climbing Mount Everest in in a flip-flop manners. So to become the global leader, we need to simplify and speed up our process, like a well-oiled formula pit to one stop instead of a passport office line. So we need to focus not on of the scientist who understands the market, the manager who understands the molecules, and obviously the coming players of a country. They should have a global mindset and the local wisdom. Like we are great at when it comes to frugal type of the R&D stuff, but when it combines with the global market understanding, that's where we are golden. And let's not forget, obviously, the agentic AI and the genomic mediums. That's our Virat Kohli's and Bumrah's of that innings. So besides that, we also need to think about our policy fronts also. Now, let's take an example of recent the most favored nation clause also. Now, in that case, we need, for example, now the Trumps had actually laid a lot of steps on imposing the tariffs. So in the global trade terms, we have to balance it, protecting our industry while staying the globally competitive manner, understanding how much tariff it needs to reduce. Obviously, the PLI scheme is a great start for it. It actually boosts our the independence about our APIs. It reduces our dependence on China and some make in India innovation hubs. We also have the government is also planning to have the dedicated policy partnerships and smoother IP registration process. And if it's been implemented in the right direction by the next 5 to 10 years, I'm pretty sure it could be a game changer for the drug discovery startups and the biotechs also. And some of the innovations we have heard about the Nyper hubs and the Byrax and the academic tie-ups, they are also creating as a Silicon Valley of our R&D hubs. So in short, if I'll say what can be the roadmap for the next 20 years to the global innovation, it's like investing in discovery of the molecule, not just focusing on a generic producers, shifting the mindset from volume to value, just like Mike mentioned, simplifying the policies and reducing the regulatory upskilling and training the next generation talent in AI, data sciences, understanding about the business about the pharma, encouraging academy and industrial partnerships, promoting and protecting our Indian IP, and creating the culture of failing fast and learning faster, which is So we need to understand not but every failure can teach us. So in short, I would say if India wants to grow from the world pharmacist to the world innovation, we need more molecules, fewer middlemen, more mentors, and lot more moonshots. Because by 2047, we don't just need to say made in India. We want to proudly say it's been invented in India. So that's the focus.
Okay, you made very interesting points, Nikhil. I really appreciate. Now coming to Dr. Amrit, right? Since Dr. Amrit is coming from HR and talent management background, how do you see the talent management and hiring landscape evolving in the pharma industry?
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Ansari, for inviting me here. So, as rightly said by both of my peers, Mr. Nikhil and Mr. Manu, that industry is definitely undergoing a lot of transformation. And this transformation is not only just by the technology, but it is actually driven by the regulatory shifts and even the global competition. And we are slowly moving towards the personalized healthcare. And definitely talent management is no longer untouched about it. So it's talent management is not just a filling about the vacancies, it's actually a building a future ready workforce. So companies nowadays are increasingly looking out for the professionals which are having a cross functional expertise, like those who understand not only the science but they also understand about the data analytics, about the market dynamics, about patient centric approaches. And not only this, the hiring is now moving towards the skill-based models. Like the degrees don't matter now much, but the how much skill you have is actually mattering most, with more focus on the learning agility, adaptability, whether the person is digitally fluent. And the roles nowadays are demanding the collaborative leadership, especially in virtual and global teams. And therefore, the talent management is now becoming a more and more strategic and continuous. So organizations are investing on the internal capability building by preparing the internal academies of the different groups, be it a manufacturing plant, be it a sales, or it's a corporate, and making them to be onboarded on the digital learning platforms. And through the mentorship ecosystem building, companies are looking out to upgrade the current people to retain and grow. So that's how the talent management landscape is in the current context, I must say.
Okay, Dr. Amrit. Okay, my next question to you is, Dr. Amrit, what kind of job roles do Indian pharma companies like Juventus Healthcare Limited, Alkem, Cipla, Ranbaxy, and also those MNCs which operate in the Indian market, like GSK, Novartis, what kind of job roles they offer to a candidate who has done a B pharmacy or any healthcare graduate, any healthcare graduation that has done, and after that he goes for a healthcare management program or pharma management program. So what kind of job roles they offer?
Right. So pharma industry. So I actually represent the traditional pharma company, which actually offers some products which are being advertised to the doctors through the medical representatives, and the patient buys in. So that's how the model in which I work. So if you talk about the traditional pharma companies, the names which you have just taken now. So MBA or the PGDM students who have just completed their pharma management or even the other management degrees, they have a lot of opportunities, to be very frank. So to name a few, it could be a product management or the PMT role, product management team role. Then it could be a business development and strategic planning. Then there is a sales and commercial excellence roles. Apart from this, a market access for a multinational companies, regulatory affairs and a market access. So the person who is actually looking out the business development, if he has a regulatory knowledge as well, then he can be a part of that international marketing team as well. Then portfolio management, not only this, training and capability building as well will be another role. Operations is another major opportunity. People who are actually having a plant pharma management degree can become a plant HRs also if they have done a HR degree. And if you are having a basic medical degree with you, then the people can also become part of a medical affairs team. So this is actually the broader perspective, I must say, that the MBA or the PGDM student must be having.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Amrit. So these are the key jobs that can be targeted in core pharma companies.
Yes.
Now we have Mr. Manu, and he has market research and consulting background. So I would like to know, please make understand audience about what is market research and consulting is all about, and what kind of job they offer to freshers who have done healthcare management or pharma management.
Sure. Sure. So the first part of your question, Shams, what exactly is management consulting all about? So I'll say consulting is a service. So we call it management consulting service. For any industry, everything is divided into two parts. We already know that either it's a product or it is a service, right? Pharmaceutical industry as a whole is centered around a product. So pharmaceutical industry, if I call the products, that they would be drugs or devices. But to sustain these drugs and devices, there are a host of services that are needed. Commercial strategy is one service that is needed, wherein you have to understand what kind of market access opportunities are there for you, what exactly price tag you can put on your product. In R&D strategy, you have to do a lot of pipeline prioritization. You have to optimize your clinical trials. You have to optimize your portfolio. Even supply chain. If you have a product, if you have a device, if you have a drug, to reach it to the end consumer, to reach it to the end patient, there is a entire supply chain involved in there. And there comes the services of manufacturing optimization or cost reduction strategies, digital transformation these days, of course. So valuation, due diligence, a host of services are there which are required to sustain these two products, drugs, and devices. Management consulting specifically helps these services to perform better. So, for example, your consumers. So as a management consultant, you will be working with people who are there in the pharmaceutical companies working on one particular business problem. Now that business problem can be of market access, can be of supply chain, can be of R&D optimization, can be of clinical trial optimization, can be anything. Your role as a consultant would be to help these people service better, help these people in crafting a better commercial strategy or better compliance strategy, for example, better healthcare system, health policy, health economic strategy. So that's basically your end goal. Your service enables other people to do a better service. And in center, the two products are devices and drugs. The second part of your question, Shams, what kind of roles a management grad can get in this area? So it starts generally with analyst and associate consultant kind of roles, wherein a person can be hired in any management consulting firm, and they initially have to do a lot of market research. When we say market research is generally, so I use the word corporate aunties, right? There are corporate aunties out there who want to know what the competitor is doing, right? If I have a product, I would definitely want to know what my competitor is doing with their product. And the job is made easy by a lot of market research. So market research is one thing where the graduates can enter. They will have to research the competition, what exactly they're doing, where exactly they're placing their products, how they're placing it, what kind of price tags they have, etc., how they're approaching the patients, how they're approaching the payers, physicians, doing the communication, etc. So that's one part where they can enter. Financial modeling, data analysis is something, if you also have an added degree of data analytics, you can enter that area as well. The healthcare and pharma practice is one area where Salesforce effectiveness is something that you can contribute as a fresher. Then if another route to this area is to go via pharmaceutical practice, which also involves pharmacovigilance. So one route, they can enter into initial pharmacovigilance and then, of course, climb up the ladders to become HUR specialist, etc., etc. The ultimate goal is to become a consultant and to give good feedback to your customers. But initially, market research is a good way to start this.
That's great, Manu. I would also like to know, what basically states or knowledge areas they should have for applying in such kind of company than for such roles. Could you please highlight those as well?
Sure. See, the beauty of management consulting is that your consumers will keep on changing, will keep on evolving. A graduate, be it from any practice, will also have to engage and interact with a scientist, and will also have to engage and interact with a person who is probably working on a lot of finances. Now, here's the difference. The scientist will know everything about pharmacology, everything about molecular bio, medicinal chemistry, you name it. But they will not know a lot about how markets behave. The financial guy will be able to do the EBITDA calculations in their head, but they will not be able to know that if the neurotoxicity of their drug is 70% and the competitor is 67%, why their EBITDA is 50% of what it was assumed. So that is the gap which the consultant has to fix. They know the science as well as the market, and that is the gap that they have to bridge. Now, translate this into the skills that the fresh graduate should have. One, absolute good command on their knowledge area, because no matter what, no matter who you're dealing with, is essentially it is the pharmaceutical industry. So you have to know your therapy area well, you have to know the regulatory process well, you have to know the clinical trial process well. Once you have that know-how, then the business acumen comes into the picture. Obviously, it all boils down to the business. We work with companies over here. All the people who have joined this webinar, they know essentially what is, by definition of the company, the definition of the company involves the word profit, right? So everybody works for profit. So once you have the pharmaceutical information, then you have to tie up everything to the businesses. Essentially, the end goal of a company is to make maximum profit. How exactly you can enable them to make good amount of profit on their products is what you have to achieve. So these are the two skill sets: pharmaceutical knowledge, of course, and then tying it up with the business acumen. Once you are able to do this, nothing stops you in this area.
That's great. Thanks a lot, Manu. That gives audience a lot to think about their careers, right? Whether they should go for, core pharma companies in the management role, or they should go for consulting firms like WNS, DS, and IQVIA. And now they know that, what are the skills they need to acquire to get into such companies. Nikhil, nowadays we do hear a lot about GCCs, Global Capability Centers, right? Could you please explain what are GCCs? As I'm very sure that many of the audience, they are not aware about this. And what is the significance of GCCs in India? How will that help, in Indian market, right? And also, what kind of opportunities they are going to offer for freshers and those who aspire to enter into pharma sector?
Yeah, it's a great question, Shams. So I'll just keep it short. So GCCs are like the brains behind the global pharma brawn, actually. So if we take an example, imagine we have Pfizer, Novartis, or J&J having a superhero back office in India, which is handling analytics, forecasting, regulatory support, competitive intelligence. So and many more offering areas. So they are no longer the cost centers, but they are the capability powerhouses. So basically, if you like data strategy and storyboarding, storytelling, like PPTs and dashboard management students. So I'll just take an example. So if let's take a simplified example, like what's the difference between a GCC and a third-party vendor firms? Like we take an example of WNS, TCS, GS, or McKinsey. So a GCC is like an in-house engine room of the global pharma company, where a person needs to work directly for that one company, like Novartis or GSK. And they need to support their teams around the world with analytics, like being a part of their extended global family. The work is more stable, it's more cross-function, and it comprises of a long-term vision. Now, on the other hand, if you join a vendor or a consulting firms like Indigi, EVS, or ZS, or TCS, then you are working as an external expert. So these firms are hired by pharma clients to solve the problems or to manage project, from launch strategy to patient analytics to regulatory work, and then to manage the sales force effectiveness. So 1 month you might help, launching the cancer drug, and the next month you are building a dashboard for J&J. This is fast, exciting, and diverse because you tend to have, a very good experiences actually. Okay. So simple analogy, if we say GCCs are inside the house, while consulting on the vendor they are the go-to expert, plumbers or the architects who helps many houses solve their, problems. Both the paths are great actually. If you are a doctor or a fresher who wants a structural growth and stability, a GCC could be a perfect platform for you. But yes, if you are an MBA or a pharma management who love solving tough problems and switching gears fast, a consulting firm is a great playground, because your experience working in a consulting firm will definitely, bring your, upward advancement in moving into a GCC, because you are having a much more diversified experience. End of the day, it's not just where you, but what you love doing, and this should actually, guide your path. So I have, multiple examples, if you say so. We actually, we hired, one of the pharma management graduate, so who actually joined as an insights and the analytics team for one of our, big chip pharma companies, right from one of the B schools like, IIHMR. So her job was to understand the US marketing teams how to position a heart failure drug. So based on the, technical acumens about the pharma knowledge, along with the business sense and the functionalities about the pharma chain, although in a very, in a very brief manner as of now, she was able to analyze patient behavior, doctor prescribing patterns, competitor campaigns using data tools like, Power BI and IQVIA data sets. So that actually helps, shape the launch messaging for the drug in the US market. So different pharma managements, students, they can have multiple roles in GCCs, which includes brand strategy, digital transformation, supply chain analytics, real world evidence. So, HCP and patient analytics managers, digital omni-channel analysts, and the portfolio strategic. So that's how the pharma management, and actually, plays a very important role in shaping up the value provided to multiple GCCs across India. And yes, you are staying in India and supporting the team. So that's one of the advantages, I would say.
Yeah, many thanks, Nikhil, for those compelling insights. Now, I would like to come back to Manu. Manu, recently the US President Donald Trump, he signed an executive order, right, where he mandated all pharma companies which operate in the US to reduce the prices of drugs in the US in order to align that with the lowest global prices, right? And to justify his action, he cited the example of MFN, most favored nation policy, as per which there should not be discrimination among trading partners. So what he's saying that the price at which you sell your drugs in other countries, we would like to buy at the same price. What is your take on that? And I would like to know, will it have any impact on Indian pharma, on both, those companies which are into the export business of generics, and also there are many MLCs which operate in India.
Right. No, that's very interesting question, Shams. And in fact, you would hear a lot of takes on this particular policy change. Most of the takes will predict doom and gloom for the pharmaceutical industry, that hey, the profits will plummet and eventually the R&D spending will plummet, and which will have a very bad impact overall on the industry. However, I have a contrary opinion, a mixed opinion, so to speak. See, if I was in the US as a pharmacy benefit manager or working for a particular company, and if I see this executive order from President Trump, I will not fear much. And I'll tell you why. Because there are 100 different ways to say that my product is unique and it's not being sold anywhere else in the world. Simple as that. The executive order gives you a leeway that your product should be priced to the minimum of what it is being priced in the other countries. So for example, your product is being sold in 10 different countries, you have to price it the lowest number. So if the country number 8 has the lowest price tag, you have to have the lowest price tag. However, there are 100 different ways to show that while the API is the same, but the product that we sell over here in the US is completely unique. And simple as that, problem solved. 100 different ways. One way, if I just say that the amber colored bottle in which I sell my API, the bottle that is being sold in Sweden, that is 40% transparency. Over here in the US is 35% transparency. That makes it unique. I can command a high pricing point for that. So I will not worry if I'm there in the US. There are 100 different ways to navigate this. It's just a good headline for policymakers. They are capitalizing on that. Congratulations. But as a pharma person, I will not worry much from the US's perspective. But I will worry from the Indian perspective. And I'll tell you why. Any Indian generic maker, they have 50% of their profits. In fact, in some cases, even more than 50% of their profits from the overseas market, mainly the US and Western Europe. So say Sun Pharma does 50% of the business in India, and the 50% is the export business. They export a lot of generics out there. Now, this is easy to do. It is easy to call my product unique if it is a branded medication, just few slight changes, giving a dropper alongside, and it's easy. It's very difficult in the generics cases, because if I'll call unique, 100 different Me Too generics will pop up and say that, hey, we can fight this price war. So the price war eventually will hit generic makers, yes. I see a golden light in this as well, a silver lining, and that is eventually it will move us more towards the innovation, more towards the biologics, more towards the products which do not have a patent expiry, vaccines for that matter. Vaccines do not get impacted much by patent expiries, etc. So we will eventually go towards the innovative segment, not a lot on the generic segment. But yes, if this order is here to stay, the generic market will hit. Yes, no doubt about that.
Right. Thank you, Manu, for sharing your perspective on this. Now coming to Dr. Amrit. As I said in my introduction, right, there are many non-healthcare graduates like BA, BCom, BBA, and BTech. They are wondering, should they join pharma management program? If yes, how will that help in their career? So could you please highlight what kind of jobs they can target, where they can excel? Can they excel in, are there any some, specific domains like supply chain management, operation management, or something like that, where they can target?
Yes, yes. So this is actually indeed a great question, I must say, Dr. Ansari. So absolutely, for a non-pharma graduates or non-science graduates to be per se, pharmaceutical sector has a lot of offers and the opportunities for them. Like for example, if you take a supply chain management, which includes the logistics, demand forecasting, procurement. Currently, pharma companies do take graduates who are having a basic degrees of BTech, BBA, or even BCom. Not only this, for sales and distribution. So many joins the sales teams as a sales trainees or the business executives, and they move up to the ladders of a success. Apart from this, if you take finance or the commercial operations, BCom and the BA graduates are the best fit because they have analytical aptitude, and nowadays the basic degrees also have the basics of the economics and finance in this BCom and BA degrees. So these students can enter into the MIS, then pricing strategy teams. If you take an example of BTech and BBA graduates, sorry, so they can enter into the digital marketing or the IT functions, as nowadays there are even graduate functions which teach you the AI and the machine learning. So the students who have done their MBA after the BA or the BBA or the BTech, they can go into the digital transformation projects of the pharma companies, even CRM systems. Not only that, the SFE is a key function which is actually key to the pharma companies, sales force effectiveness or the sales force analysis, what we call it. The students who have done their BCom, BA, or even the engineering graduates, and they have a good analytical skills with the good approach of the Excel, Power BI, Tableau, they can go into this SFE domain. Not only this, people who are having a good skills of people management, they can enter into the HR and the L&D roles like a talent acquisition, plant HR, learning design, employee engagement. And not only this, they can also enter into the roles of L&D analytics as well. I have seen many of the people who have done their BCom degrees, done their MBAs, and they have moved into the analytics domain in the pharma companies, be it the SFE domain or be it analytics domain of HR analytics or the L&D analytics. It has a tremendous opportunity. So the only key here is, understanding an industry by taking an interest.
Right.
Apart from this, having an awareness about the pharma market, which every student can be there using, if you read economical times or if you read the news of the pharma companies through the InShort or any such social media, and of course through the YouTube and the other channels are there, which can make you commercially aware. And of course, the learning attitude should be there to enter into this particular domain, I must say.
Very well said, Dr. Amit. That is very much needed. Learning should be continued. Thank you so much for your input on this.
Thank you.
Nikhil, would you like to add on in the context of consulting and health tech, companies, as you work at TCS, which is a consulting firm, and you work with, as I believe that you work with many BTech graduates and non-healthcare graduates. So, what's your take on this?
Absolutely, Shamshuman. So I'll be just adding to what Dr. Amrit has provided us and valuable insights. So most of the people, they think we need a doctor or a farmer to work in or to work in a pharma consulting company. So that's not true at all, I would say. Graduates from BCom, BB, BA or BTech backgrounds, they have huge opportunities in pharma. Especially in the areas like what Dr. Amrit has mentioned in terms of sales and marketing, where communication, branding, market understanding. There are supply chains and operations, which is quite ideal for commerce or engineering minds actually. Then it comes to data analytics and forecasting, which is perfect for the tech savvy grades. And then obviously we have a finance, IT, HR, and the project management, where every pharma company needs these roles because most of the consulting thrives on the big data analytics, where we need a scrum master or the agile set of programs to have a team run on the specific project timelines. So I have multiple examples to share with you, team. So like, a couple of years we had one BTech computer science graduate who had not any medical background. So I'd also love to add, Shamshuzaman, how pharma, management him to augment his career. So initially he joined as a BTech, as a data analyst intern. So his job was to work with a massive amount of sales and prescription data from the countries like US and Germany. But obviously not aware about the drugs or therapy areas. But he knew how to code, and that actually creates a bit of difference. So his initial job was to build an ETL, that is action transformation, and loading the information, creating data pipeline using Python and SQL, which actually helps to pull in the data, daily sales data from sources like AG or the internal CRM system. Then with the help of data stewards. So now data stewards, they were actually the pharma graduates or the MBA graduates. So actually he used to interact with data stewards, and then he tried to understand how they were used to clean and harmonize this particular data, linking to the computer product launches, pricing, and regulatory timelines. Then obviously knowing the Power BI and Tableau, he actually helped them to build an interactive dashboard that showed when competitors were entering into new markets, how quickly doctors were adopting those new drugs. But all of a sudden, most of the customers, they don't realize the fact that these are the tech-savvy guys. So it's up to the business team who needs to answer. So he realized that fact, and we suggested him to go with pharma management course. Then this actually helps him. So he took this course, he took a break, and then understand the opportunities in how to understand the pharma business value chains. And this actually helped. Then when he again joined in back, so he was able to answer many questions from the customer without taking the help from our business teams, who were actually having the people from actual pharma backgrounds, like which regions had sudden spikes in prescription, what could be the reason for declining of the market share. So these insights actually and client provided a really good feedback that he was quite instrumental in pushing drug across in providing the early market share, and his automation skills and business skills for those therapy areas were tremendous, and he has never been to any med school. So yes, I would say non-health grads, they do have an impact in pharma, but when it gets combined with the domain skills, with curiosity and learning, then it adds a cherry onto the cake. So don't wait to get perfect in pharma. Start with what you are good, and then you build accordingly as you go. That's my thought process to it.
Yeah, thank you so much. What about other than pharma healthcare graduates like MBBS, BDS, physiotherapists? Can they enter into pharma sector? And if they enter, what kind of challenges they can face? Is there any discrimination by pharma consulting firms or pharma companies that no, we have to hire only those who have pharma background? Could you please throw a light on that as well? Because we at IIHMR,
Absolutely.
at IIHMR Bangalore, we get a number of BDS graduates, MBBS, and nurses, right? Many of them, they are like, we don't have any relation with pharma. We just have read, pharmacology. So we don't understand the drug development stages. We don't understand about the trials and all. So why we should go in pharma?
Absolutely. So I would say yes. In fact, all the BDS, MBBS, and all the paramedics, medics guys, they are already halfway there. So these guys, they understand healthcare, patients, and biology. So that's a full-fledged case with me, Shamshu Zaman. Like, I did my B Pharm and M Pharm. I was a pure, medtech guy. That is, learning and, understanding the language of strategy, market dynamics, and data. So, initially 15, 16 years back, I joined as a clinical data researcher. So what exactly the challenge is, what the BDS, MBBS, or, other medical or paramedical backgrounds they faced. So, shifting the mindset from clinical to commercial, like, your stethoscope is now your Excel sheet. Okay. Now getting, familiar with some, business lingos like NPA, Septita, SOVs. These are not the new antibiotics, rather than these are some of the terms that you need to understand from the business. And also, learning tools like Excel, Power BI, or Tableau. So how you can overcome it? Doing some certification or short courses in the, pharma marketing, or analytics, interning or freelancing for a consulting company, and most importantly, networking and staying curious. So, most of the people, they, when they join as, like I initially also spoke about, GCCs, they are quite happy to take, different medical background without having a business logic into their consulting teams. Reason being, so they are hired specifically for some medical analyst roles, like whether in terms of understanding the clinical data, understanding the pharmacological discovery, drug discovery, and how we need to, acclimatize with that structure. So we need to play to our strengths. We have, so although they have bought a strong clinical and medical logics into the project, making their insight sharper and more grounded to, reality. But also try to, have the more cross-functional collaboration with your teams and mentors, and to understand the business side in a very simple language. Also trying to understand, like breaking down pharma would be like, it's like your disease, understanding disease symptoms, like understanding a business problem. Diagnosis is, creating an insight, and treatment is like, strategy. Try to upskill, by taking some courses, as we have mentioned, collaborating with some academic courses. Like in my case also, I realized, understanding pharma marketing and basic analytics structure. So I actually pursued with my, MBA from business analytics from IIM. That actually helped me to understand the pharma value chain in a much more holistic manner, in a very 360 ratio. And that actually helped me to transfer from medical consulting to commercial consulting, and then leveraging technical to commercial. So there is always an upscaling into our side. Okay, we just need to, make a switch. We just need to switch our lenses from treating one patient at a time to impacting millions of patients through data, strategy, and creating some technical innovation at our mindset. The only barrier is our mindset. Okay, so we need to stay humble. We need to combine science with strategy, and then we are just not able to fit in, but we are being able to stand out. And we need to ask, multiple tons of questions. Instead of hiding what we don't know, we have to be curious, and we have to, learn fast to understand what are the type of data, how exactly we need to get absorbed and digested, where our information is being used to create business decisions. So that's how your learning actually, grows across time.
Thank you so much. Nikhil, now we are approaching time. So in the interest of time, I would like to wrap up the discussion. And before we end up this, discussion for audience, I would request doctors to both please give a presentation on IIHMR Bangalore, and also please talk about the programs that we offer at IIHMR Bangalore.
So, hello everyone. I'm Dr. Subodh from IIHMR Bangalore. So, I'm working as an assistant professor for pharmaceutical management in IIHMR Bangalore. To about IIHMR Bangalore, we are established in 2004, Institute of Health Management Research, and we are the aegis of Indian Institute of Health Management Research, Jaipur, which was founded back in 1984. So over the 2 decades, IIHMR Bangalore is working in multidisciplinary verticals like healthcare management education, research and consultancy, training programs in health and health-related areas. So when it comes to the journey of IIHMR Bangalore, here are a few major milestones that we went through. One of those, we started back in 2004 in South India. Then in 2010, we got the AICTE approval for our PGDM program. In 2015, IIHMR Bangalore became the first academic institution to get NABET accreditation. In 2017, we started our new specialization of health information technology. 2018, we got MBA equivalence from Association of Indian Universities. And in 2020, we started our pharmaceutical management specialization, and our students was raised to 120 students per year. And in 2022, we started Center for Advancing Digital Health at MBA. And in 2023, our fellowship program in management. And in 2024, we started our new PGDM program in artificial intelligence and data science with 30 students. And in 2025, IIHMR Bangalore was awarded with A grade by NAC. And these are the key divisions of IIHMR Bangalore: academics, research and consultancy, admire and training. Academics, we have 2 PGDM programs, hospital and health management, and PGDM in AI and data science. Along with that, we have a fellowship program in hospital and healthcare. Research and consultancy, we work in different verticals like health systems, population research, and hospital management. And admire is focused specifically on skilling as a skilling hub, as well as work on research and development hub. In training, we conduct MDPs, FTPs, EDPs, and many certificate programs and professional practice series. When it comes to our ranks, we ranked 10th in Bangalore when it comes to Outlook, and the week had ranked us 12th in Bangalore. We are also provided with AAA Plus by Careers 360 and have a gold band, and we were awarded by multiple agencies. Then when it comes to our flagship program, that is PGDM in hospital and health management, it's a 2-year program, full-time program, and started back in got approval back in 2010 from AICTE, and in 2018 we changed from PGDHM to PGDM. So our maximum capacity is 120 students, and program offers specializations in 4 important specializations: hospital, health information technology, and pharmaceutical management. So these are our accreditations. We were awarded A grade in NAC, and also we are accredited by NBA. We are provided with MBA equivalency by Association of Indian Universities, and also we are approved by AICTE. So why? What is the need for hospital, healthcare, or pharma, or IT as a career option? Because it is one of the fastest growing sector. Healthcare, as you know, is the fastest or expanding rapidly along with technological advancements, as well as with the increasing demand for quality in healthcare services, and high employability as well as competitive salaries. As our expert panel have mentioned few of the important areas or few of the important skill set which you actually require in the healthcare market. And also when it comes to the support of the government as well as the support from different policies which are actually being adopted. And why this flagship program of PGDM in hospital and health management is special? Because our curriculum gets revised every year as per the industry norms, as per the changes in the industry, advances in the industry. The curriculum gets revised every year, and you get a practical exposure through the dissertation as well as the STP, where you will be exposed to the industry for a period of 3 as well as 4 months in both these. And also, we have expert faculties from multiple domains. Sorry. Yeah, Ansari sir, I hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yeah. Along with that, what makes our program special is the innovative teaching methods, as well as we provide 100% placement assistance for our students and collaborations and memorandum of understandings with multiple organizations around the globe and very strong alumni base. So when it comes to our program, the first year generally consists of 2 terms, term 1 and 2, where there will be generally the induction course that gives you a basic about computers, information technology, and also kind of help you in the basic skill development, and the foundation courses like medical terminology, pharma business environment, data analytics, to kind of build on your foundation in this particular area. And we enter directly to our core courses, which will be the core of this flagship program. So after the end of first year, you'll be having the summer training program where you will be having an intense 12 weeks exposure in hospitals, healthcare institutions, as well as pharmaceutical companies, where you will be getting practical exposure and learning under top level mentors. And when it comes to the second year, it will be purely based on the specializations. There also you'll be having 2 terms, term 3 as well as term 4, which will be purely based on the specialization selected by the student. So when it comes to the eligibility criteria for PGDM program in hospital and health management, any graduate from any educational background can apply for the PGDM program. So the minimum requirement is 50% of 50% in their graduation, and also for specialized cases there will be consideration. And students in final year can apply for a provisional admission, and they have to submit the necessary documents before the starting of the sessions. And also when it comes to the scores or maybe aptitude test scores, you can along either CAT, MAT, CMAT, ZAT, ATMA, GMAT and KMAT will be considered by IIHMR Bangalore as a valid score. So this is more like an outline of the hospital and or maybe in 2024-26 batch. So you can see we have students from different states around in India, like from Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra and West Bengal, where you can see a very strong network or a very strong set of students. And also when it comes to the qualifying degree, you can see majority are from BSc, but similarly there is a strong list of students from BPharm, BDS, BHMS, BBA, etc. So to kind of brief you about the admission process, the first will be kind of based on your eligibility criteria, just like I have mentioned, 50% of marks as well as any valid scores. And also second, you can kind of apply online, download our applications, you can fill the application, that will be scrutinized, and based on the shortlisted number of applicants will be invited for a GDPA session. Based on that, the candidates will be selected, and on a payment of admission fee, the seat will be confirmed, and after that your document will be verified and admission will be approved. So these are few of our regular recruiters, ZS, Burjil, Fortis, and also which includes many pharma, hospitals, healthcare organizations, IT companies and all. So these are like our international and national collaborations. We have collaborations with Maastricht University, University of Mysore, University of Oslo and all, and Sanitas Hospital, and also many organizations in India. So these are our empanelments. We are empaneled with UNICEF, NHSRC, KEA, NHA, HCL, DSIR, etc. So this is the intellectual capital of IIHMR Bangalore, with Dr. S.D. Gupta being our trustee secretary, and some distinguished visiting professors, Dr. S. Sadagoban, former director of IITB, Dr. C.S. Kedar IAS, senior advisor for us, and also our director, Dr. Usha Manjunath. So this is our faculty members, professors, associate professors, and assistant professors. So that's all about IIHMR Bangalore. Over to you, Ansari sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Subodh, for such a detailed presentation about IIHMR Bangalore and the program. Now, coming to Dhruv Kocha, right? He's asking about what would be skills required while doing B.Pharm for a well-paid job. It already has been covered, I would say, but now again, I'm coming to Dr. Amrit. Could you please reiterate whatever you said very briefly?
Sure. So, to be very frank, B.Pharm, of course, pharma industry is like a ocean or the blue ocean, I must say. And after BPharm, if you do MBA in marketing, operations, so anywhere you can land up and get a good paid job. Nowadays, this area is of specialization. So I suggest that you take a experience, and then definitely the market is yours, because currently the industry is struggling to get a good candidates. There are many candidates with the higher percentage of marks, but if you don't have a skill set, then these marks are of course of no use, right? So I request everyone who is attending here that apart from the degrees that you are getting, please make justice to these degrees as well by taking a real interest in the learning, real interest in the experience. Then only these degrees will be justified, right? So of course the market is open for you, and we are there to help you. And don't hesitate for the location. Like if I am from Bangalore, I will work in Bangalore only. I will not come to Mumbai for a job, right? So don't think about that. The pharma market is across India, which is open for sure.
Thank you, Dr. Amrit. Now the next question is from Tejaswini, and she's asking, she's from microbiologist background, what kind of opportunities she has in pharma industry. Can you ask Mr. Manu to answer this query? The query from Tejaswini.
Sure. Tejaswini, I can only speak about my space, which is the consulting space. And to answer you in particular, you're a microbiologist. So I'm a biotechnologist myself, right? So not exactly a pharmacologist or a guy who's well versed with pharmaceutics, but I learned everything along the way. As a biotechnologist, I did not have encounter a lot of problems, because ultimately it's all about one business question, one business case at a time. So even with a background in microbiology, as Shamsuzman was also mentioning, if you have the life science background, you can work anywhere in the pharma industry, especially in consulting. It does not really matters much if you're from the microbiologist or biotechnologist background. It helps a little if you understand life sciences, but that you already do, right? Every business question you anyways have to read from the scratch. So your background doesn't really matters much. What matters is more your inquisitive ability, your ability to research, your ability to connect the dots, and that is exactly what matters. As a microbiologist, you can definitely enter market research field, consulting field, and even data analytics field for that matter. So no holds barred.
Thank you so much, Manu, for this answer. And yeah, so whoever has background in healthcare, they should not worry about pharma. I'm very sure if they pay attention, if they have learning ability, they can learn in a very short time, right? And also, if you join pharma management program at IIHMR Bangalore, you will get 2 years to get exposure about pharma industry. You will be taught about each and everything, like what are the development stages. You will be taught about regulatory affairs. You will be taught about basics of pharma CI. So you should not worry about that. Then there is a question from Chintan Shah. He's asking about what are the best opportunities for Indian regulatory pharma industry that is special in license. Dr. Amrit, would you like to answer this?
Sure. So, first of all, if you talk about the regulatory affairs, there are many opportunities. We require the people with good communication skills and the people skills, you can say. So, for regulatory affairs, there is a dedicated person in every pharma company who is going into the different FDA offices, be it a local FDA, which is a state FDA, or be it a CDSCO. Now, that's up to the Indian context. Now, if you go into the foreign markets like LATAM markets or the Middle East markets or even in the Southeast Asian markets, we require the person who can go and visit the government offices and do the documentation on behalf of company and take an approval for the requisite products. So there are plenty of opportunities for the regulatory professionals in India, not only for making a documentation, but also for the liaisoning space, I must say.
Thank you, Dr. Amrit. And then there's a question from Sunil Rathod, and he's asking about different opportunities for B.Pharmacy graduates. So see, it already has been covered, and also this webinar will be uploaded on our YouTube channel in a couple of days, so you can go there as well. And in case you have any queries, you can reach out to us as well. will display the number of Joyce, who is the senior admission and marketing officer. Now, there is one question from Tushar Pure, right? He is asking about which department is good after doing MBA PGDM in pharma industry. So, see, as per my understanding, I always say you should always target consulting firms or GCCs, right? The reason behind that is when you become the part of any consulting firm or GCCs, you will get exposure to international market. You will have clients from the US and European countries, and when you have clients from these countries, they are going to pay your company in dollar and euro. So the initial salary will be great, and even you will see exponential growth there. Anyone would like to add here, Nikhil or Manu or Dr. Amit, because it's very subjective, right? I just told what I think.
Yes, Shamshuddin. So I would like to add into this. I feel, we should rely on the ikigai. Ikigai means like we should be excited when going into our Monday meetings. So initially, one should be very clear about the vision and mission actually, where exactly they want to, land up. So yes, we do have an options for, consulting opportunities, as rightly you mentioned. Apart from that, as we have also, talked about the innovation in with the Indian pharma industry in coming decade or two. So you are a paramedic graduate, and if you want to persist, go ahead with that. It all depends upon your priorities. It all depends upon your interest. Because what I personally leverage your passion with your career, then it actually eventually it helps you to understand where exactly you are going and where exactly you are lacking. And if you believe that your passion is not getting merged with your career, then there are some other options which we need to explore, obviously. So that's one of the point which
thank you so much, Nikhil.
I liked.
Hi, Nikhil, sir. Hello.
Yeah, hi Sunil. Yeah, hi Sunil.
I am for B Farm third year student and I complete. बघितलं नाही त्यांना 1 minute सर माहित नाहीये म्हणलं असेल रूम मध्ये बर I can join, sir. I know you late.
Sure.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, so now coming to a question from Mansi Singer, she's asking about what are some of the key challenges you have faced in your role and how have you addressed them? Manu, could you please answer that if you can recall any challenges that you have faced in your career and how you have overcome that?
Sure. That's a spectrum. That's not one question. It's like a boatload of question because I'll tell you why. In our industry, we deal with business problems, and every problem is basically new. So I am sure you would also do tons of case studies in a quarter, and every case study is new. Same as our case as well. We have business problems, and generally these business problems are something which are not tackled previously. So because if they are tackled previously, then it's not a problem, right? They know how to answer this. So many times we have struggled with timelines. Many times we have struggled with the actual output itself. But the most important challenge, I would say, is deciphering what the client really needs. And this was a challenge which I encountered in my initial days because we used to think from our perspective that, okay, here's a business question and here's the output that we have to give. And somehow, in several cases, it was not satisfactory enough. How we solved it, we basically got into the client's shoes and understood that ultimately they're also serving somebody else, right? No matter what you're doing, essentially humans are working with humans. Let's get this down to the bare fact. Essentially, humans are always working with humans, solving a particular problem. And the human that you're working is also answerable to somebody else. They're answerable to their bosses. They want to look good in front of their bosses. So if you look from their shoes, the essence of problem solving becomes that they have to look good in front of their stakeholder by solving the problem that their stakeholder is facing, not them. So essentially, you not only have to solve the problem of your client, but also the problem of your client's boss. Once you understand that, it's pretty easy from then on. But yes, that was one problem that I learned the hard way, I would say. But once I learned it all was a breeze from there. Not sure if I was able to answer you satisfactorily, but yeah, that was one of the problems.
Yeah, thank you so much, Manu, for answering the questions. Then there is a question from what can I do after B.Pharm completion, right? So, I mean, you want to understand whether you should go for a job directly after your graduation, or you want to go for M.Pharm, or you want to go for Pharma MBA. You are confused, right? So, Manu, could you please answer on that? What is the best option for those who are about to complete their B.Pharmacy and they are a bit confused about, whether they should go for a direct job or they should choose between, M.Pharm and MBA?
Sure. It actually depends. So Nikhil mentioned a great point in the last part. Ikigai he mentioned. So it all actually stems from what exactly you want to do and which particular industry you want to enter. Within pharmaceutical industry, there are spaces, right? So if you want to go to the R&D sector, B.Pharm might not be able to fetch you the right position that you're aiming for. Maybe you would need a master's degree over there. If you want to enter the healthcare management field, MBA would be the place to go. If you want to enter consulting, an M.Pharm degree or a B.Pharm degree would not matter much. It may differ in terms of the starting salary, but later, after 2 years, 3 years down the line, it all depends on how you have performed in your work. You would even, very easily in consulting, you can, go beyond the people who have done masters and PhDs. It all depends on your work. However, for the core spaces, for the core fields, if you want to go into the research area, quality assurances, and the lot, I guess a master's is what you should aim for. So essentially, it boils down to what exactly you want to do, what exactly you want to pursue. Once you have that clarity, the next option, the next step becomes very clear from there on.
So now we are at the closure of the session, appreciating all of you, the moderator, the panelists, and the participants for your time and patience to stay with us actively during this hour of session. So I have 2 announcements to make. One announcement is we have an open day tomorrow happening at our campus. So it is an opportunity for the walk-ins to meet the faculty as well as the industry experts, along with guided campus tour. We also have the next webinar coming up on 26th May at 4 p.m. on Health Management Unplugged, Real Stories, Real Answers, Insights from Faculty, Alumni, and Student. For more updates, follow IIHMR page on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Thanks once again and happy weekend. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a
so
good
much.
weekend.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for a wonderful session.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.